We're doing the final review of the repairs performed to Leah's Caribe. This boat presented us with numerous challenges. We had DIY, we had delamination, and we had Barnacle City. And so initially Joe did the inspections and started to remove the DIY disasters and go ahead and tackle those. But the delamination posed a problem for him in that each time he would place a patch, let it cure, come back and inspect the next day, and he would find minor leaks around that. So whatever patch it was, just worn fabric was letting loose. And so he'd have to go back and re-prep, and he was losing days on a lot of that work. And, he's a lucky son of a gun that he was in Michigan when I arrived to deal with, Zoe left a little bit of extra work, and I'm thinking, no problem. Well, it was a problem. It was a big problem. So, I watched his initial inspection video yesterday. We did have leaks. We also had delamination. He did 2 videos, one for the leaks, one for the delam. Some of the problem children on this repair would be our oarlocks are dry, they were chewy, they were detached. And I had prepped and put these down at least 3 times. And because of those edges and whatever was on the back of the oarlock, they weren't wanting to adhere very well. Plus, with all those gashes and slices in the top, it's going to allow water in there to attack our adhesive, and Leah would be calling and saying, Zoe, the oarlocks are coming off. So I took the liberty of applying exterior sealant there. I know that this was a leak. I believe perhaps it's delamination though. We had DIY up here. The bow was the worst of the DIY. So we've taken care of that. Had to pull the seam reinforcing strip here and here in order to place this patch. There's an interior patch, inside patch under that. There was a leak at the intersection of our rub rail and seam reinforcing strip here. Not certain. I think we had delamination here, perhaps here. I mean, it was everywhere. It was across the board. We did have leaks inside the bow. Sorry, Bert.
That's quite all right.
We just got...
there you go.
I think we quoted her for 12 patches, and there are a whole lot more than 12 patches on this vessel now. Okay, so some areas of delamination have been handled with patches. Some areas, like up here, our bow seam reinforcing strips, if I went to go prep this delamination to try to place a patch, it's only going to keep curling up more and more and more. This was one of those boats that every time I glanced in the direction of it, I saw more delamination. You can't look at the boat without the pieces of the colored layer of fabric wanting to curl up. So I gave, as a courtesy, some paint here. Areas up here, here, any small delam, I've applied exterior sealant to those areas. And if we come on around, we're about to get into the major surgery portion here. So again, we've got exterior sealant. This was a severely delaminated area. You can see it wanted to peel, so we've sealed that with some paint. Exterior sealant for another spot underneath. Cannot recall. I've had this boat for a bit, and we've been balls to the wall here. If that was a leak or delam. Moving along, we've got another patch here. Same deal with the oarlocks. The tops were so chewy. They're wrecked. However, this area here was down. So I cleaned, prepped, re-glued what I could, and then sealed the top so water can't attack. I believe Joe found a leak here. We know there was a leak here. And then this is our big major surgery area. There was a DIY patch here and delamination. When Joe had removed the patch, he made his plan to cover the leaks adequately and then some. So he cut you could probably see the definition of it here, fairly long patch and a fairly wide patch. He let those cure, came back, did another inspection, and he saw minor leaks around those. So he left this area for me. I had to yank back the grab handle, pull the rub rail down. The rub rail had cracks. Get my large patch on here. We want to seal this entire area to make certain it can't get ripped off, if Leah is running underinflated for some reason, that the vibration of the outboard doesn't want to pull this away, because this is a big deal. Sealed everything. This little swath of sealant is for rub rail cracks. Came back and found out Joe had missed a super fast leak under here. So then had to peel the scuff pad away, the seam reinforcing strip, to place a patch there. This patch was cut and sitting on our workbench, but it wasn't put on the boat. A little bit of sealant for delamination there. Then I had the boat flipped over to try to deal with the barnacle situation. And I thought that Leah was going to move forward with a bottom paint job. Because if you take a quick, I don't want to make you bend down, but if you could take a quick peek underneath, we still have barnacle mess. And I'll show you the before photos, but it was horrendous, absolutely horrendous. And so anticipating doing a bottom paint job, I applied black exterior sealant to just some minor delaminations on the bottom. We had a run of it over here, and then Leah opted to not move forward with that. So unfortunately, the exterior sealant does not match the exterior sealant that's been placed on the top of the vessel. We had a missing valve cap. I found one in the shop and replaced it with that. Another one of the valves was missing the O-ring for the valve cap. Replaced that as well. But when I had the boat upside down, I found areas of detachment of fabric surrounding the transom. Cleaned, prepped, re-glued those. Sealed here. Joe had, up by our seat mount on the starboard side, he had pulled the seam reinforcing strip to attack a leak there. When I came back to inspect again, I saw some creamers, just some worn fabric. You know, the boat was filthy. We had to get it cleaned up first to be able to go back and look for all these minuscule areas. Is that filth or pinhole leak, you know? So sealed that area. And then, I mean, we've been slammed here. So I could not for the life of me remember if we had quoted her for a cleaning and UV treatment. It was my understanding that we were just supposed to get rid of those barnacles so that we could properly inspect the bottom of the boat, because you couldn't see any leaks before when the boat came in. And I honestly didn't have the time to scroll back through records and videos and this, that, and the other to try to figure out if she had been quoted. So we gave her a complimentary cleaning and UV treatment on this vessel. I believe that's it for it was a whole lot. If I've missed anything, just know that this boat has certainly been inspected about 45 times. And I'm really happy to see it going bye-bye today.